Hello everybody, again, good morning. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I've got up quite early today because it's a lot nicer being in the garage when it's cool. Yesterday I could have done so much more if I wasn't dying of heat exhaustion. I also had a dream about welding, which is quite strange. But in that dream, I think I've worked out how to do this bit. I'm going to do it in 3 sections, one center and then that side, and I think I know how to make the curve now. Earlier I was saying I was going to weld it in as one big flat piece and then fold the end up. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to do it in 3 sections. I can put the return in on my folder in the garage, in the workshop thing, and then hopefully if I smash the return it'll expand the metal and put a gentle curve in it. That's my plan anyway. I don't know why that literally did just come to me in a dream. I might start building an arc later, you never know. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, damn it. 2 things. One was I was determined not to swear, and I've just sworn, and that is because I've just run my finger across that bit and cut it right at the beginning of the day as well, and it's an annoying paper cut type of cut. Little sharp one. Me. Not gonna lie, this side's been a complete hack fest. Found a whole load of brays in here as well, so that's how they were finished on these cars. I think the later ones were definitely welded, but this being a 1980-81 car, perhaps it's different. A bit earlier to the ones I've had in the past. Right, so we are left with a hole, bits where I've completely chewed it up, but the actual core metal is quite good. This side is much nicer, good metal to weld back onto, all the structure's perfect. That's really stiff, and that's what I want because obviously there's quite a lot of load goes through these. These reinforcers run back into that tail rail. So I'm going to get the wire brush, wire drill most of this thing with what's left of the bristles, get the welder, weld up any areas I think are weak, particularly on that side, fill in that hole, grind it all smooth, then go do some cardboard templating. While I'm doing the cardboard templating, all of this can be covered in Hydrate 80 and start like rust treatment work, and then hopefully be able to weld it back again. It's about, I think, 9:30 in the morning. It's already chuffing hot, so my idea of getting up has achieved pretty much nothing. Never mind. We'll start on the good side. That's after I've hit it with a hammer to smooth it out a bit and then wire brushed it. Basically no repair needed. This side, it's a bit frilly. We've got a hole to fill there, hole to fill there, hole to fill there. And there's no point filling that hole because it'll be seam welded along here, around here, so it's going to end up a lot stiffer than it was originally anyway. But this metal is good enough to take a few spot welds, or my plug welds, replication of spot welds, and then fill in the bit in the middle afterwards. So I am going to get the welder, do that bit, grind it flat, do the next bit. Okay, hopefully you saw what was going. Ow, fuck. Damn it. That. Oh, once again, swearing is not going well. Not being an idiot is not going well. I just picked up something very, very chuffing hot. I was getting annoyed with my welds just burning back, so I took a piece of copper pipe, hammered it flat, and then clamped it to the underside. It does two things. One is it acts like a heat soak, which is why it got hot and I burnt myself. So it conducts the heat away, which means this metal cools faster, which means it's less likely to burn back in the first place. Also, this stuff doesn't melt with an arc like the steel does, or if it does, it's at a much higher temperature. Consequently, the mild steel won't actually weld to it, which means you can use it as a kind of shelf. So it sits underneath, clamped there, and you can sit there, just filling it up with weld, pigeoning it like I have here. Again, all of this will be ground smooth. I don't really care what it looks like. I don't even care if there are little pinholes in it. It really doesn't matter. As long as it's pretty stiff and can take some plug welds coming through from the top side, and it is. Already, having done that, that is now rock hard, apart from that bit obviously, but don't look at that. So I'm going to grind that smooth, rust treat it, and move on to the cardboard templating bit. Right, that's ground smooth. Somebody yesterday, I forget his name or her name, I think it's a he, pointed out that I shouldn't be using the Hydrate 80 directly from the thing, or didn't point out, suggested, and he's totally right. It does actually say on the can, don't do that, because this activates with air, and if you leave the cap open it can get aerated and stuff. However, it's expensive, and it's really, if you decant it into another tub, you're just kind of wasting it really. And yes, it does thicken up in the pot if you do leave the lid off like I am doing now, even while I talk to you, but for the volumes I use, I just don't want to keep pouring it in a tub and then pouring it away. So yeah, he's right, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm a rebel, you see. Oh, the other interesting thing is, I've just twigged that harness only just about reaches that area from the back by posting it through the tail lights, so I'm either gonna work through the side up and over, or lift the welder into the boot of the car, which will be fun. Not because it's surprisingly heavy, big juicy transformer in it, I guess, and big gas bottle. Anyway, I shan't bother recording much more of that. We have cardboard patch number 1. What can I say about this? Basically, what I've learned is I'm an idiot and I should have taken a lot more reference measurements. I've been in and out from this car to the other car, and I think I'm somewhere close. I need to chop that bit out, but oversize. That will leave me enough meat to put the return on it. Then I can actually come out and do the final shaping on the car, weld that in. I'll do the same on the other side, and then I can make the bit in the middle. All of this I will have to be careful with, although I think there's a lot of room for bodgery, because it's not exactly a closely toleranced part. It's just, you know, so long as this is actually long, the longer the better. That actually helps. It'll be coming back and checking my reference measurements off of this, which is going to be hard because, of course, the peak of the lip doesn't exist until I've folded it onto that, and the distance from there to the top of the lip can change depending on the angle of the lip. So it really was stupid. I should have done the measurements from the underside to the base. That's what I've been measuring from the cars outside, and it seems to be about 12 millimeters from the rear of this rail to the base of the return. So that's what I'm going to aim for. And I also need to take a key measurement of the inner distance of this flange to that one over there. Annoying. I wasn't going to bother filming this because it's not very interesting, but there are some people out there who probably don't do a lot of this and don't know all the tools you can buy for not a lot of money. That's my little Clark strong arm thing, and it's really handy if you just want to bend stuff up. So I've cut my rough piece oversized. I've simplified the design as well. I've actually made it smaller than that cardboard pattern I showed you earlier, because I wanted a nice straight top surface which had to come out of the edge of the sheet of zintec steel I've got, which meant that I couldn't have the extension that runs down here and then folds up that way. So that's my panel. Again, I've cut it deliberately oversized because I need to trim it down to fit really on the car. That will go in there like so. You can see how it is oversized this end. That will be chopped off and hammered flat, and then I'll have to weld a piece in there afterwards. But that's looking pretty close. I'll need to do my reference measurements. So it was 106 from that point to the top of there. So we'll see how far off we are now. Oh, such a joke. I can't believe I bothered doing it this way. Really was a dumb idea. So we're at 102. So it should be there. So it needs to come back, which it can. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to put some speed holes in here, ready for plug welding. That is another reference measurement. She said 103. They would print the numbers on the wrong way around, wouldn't they? 106. So it needs to sort of twist, go in like that. Before I start prepping this to go in, I will just try hitting that edge with a hammer and seeing if I can get that gentle bend in it, because that would be kind of cool to do. So we have a panel that is essentially glass flat. My intention is to put it on here or on the vise and smash that top edge until the panel starts to bend down. I think that's what will happen. I don't actually know because I've never tried it before, but we'll have a go. What would you know? I'm a goddamn panel beater now. We have bendage and retained slightly wobbly flange. Oh, misses, but that looks very promising indeed. I'm going to do a couple more up here, and then I don't want to go crazy because I don't actually know the curve I need yet. I need to kind of do all of this slowly catchy monkey so that I don't bend it too much. And I'm using a hammer that has a curved face so that doesn't matter if I'm not very accurate, it's going to push the metal away. Oh. Right. Let's go try it on the car. I suppose you could do a whole wheel arch lip like this if you were really masochistic. I've always meant to buy myself a little folder thing, but it always, like, I don't know. Oh, look at that. Job's a good one. Speed holes added. I haven't gone crazy with them because the metal under there is still quite thin-ish. I mean, it's structural, so it's 1.2, so it should take a bit of heat. Most of this will be seamed, so it doesn't actually need much in the way to tie it down. So yeah, that's in there. I've done my reference measurement check again. So I've got 103 between there, and 106 between there and there. So that should be right. And then the other way I've been checking it is from here, the return, to there. On the cars outside, it varies between about 12 and 15. So I've gone for somewhere in the middle. And as I said before, I really don't think this is crucial, because you've got a lot of freedom of movement of that tailgate, and if the worst came to it, I could just smash that flange forward. So I'm going to weld that in and stuff it. If it's wrong, I'll just beat the hell out of it later. I have the welder perched on a spare wheel and tyre. One day when I win the lottery, I will have a nice workshop where I can get to everything, have really good lighting. Every boy's dream. That's in. I went round it with the wire wheel again just to clean off the Hydrate 80. I've repositioned my light as well. I've repositioned my light up here, so hopefully I should be able to see, and so should you. Oh, incidentally, it's also a lot easier doing the reference measurements up here, because they all, you know, it's just a lot easier to gauge them. 106. So yes, now for the welding. Well, that's in, and it's damn solid. There's enough metal in that to sink a battleship. There's going to be a lot of cleaning up to do, which I'm not looking forward to, but I have to just sort of get on with it, sadly. But I am really pleased with that. That's fit in really nicely. I didn't have to beat that panel up from underside, and if you can look at that return, it kind of follows the line of the roof, which means it probably follows the line of the tailgate, which means it will probably all fit. So happy days. Ta-da! Right, I'm going to go cool off a bit because I'm boiling hot now, but that's all rubbed down. It will need a bit of filler, but meh, the whole thing's going to need filler anyway. More of the same this side. It's been slightly harder to fabricate because I needed to put more metal in here where that had got a bit frilly, so I've made an upstand bendy bit there. That of course makes it harder to bend it that way, but we're somewhere close. I now just need to go and put the holes in for plug welding. Then I will do the final shaping of it in the car once it's tacked on. So I'm going to zinc paint that, put the holes in this, and then come back and start welding it. So that's on there now. I've checked my measurements, they're all fine in terms of the distances. So I'm going to tack it, push it down, hammer it, weld it while it's warm, hammer it while it's warm, do all that sort of shit. Oh, damn it, swearing again. It's automatic for me, I do apologise. Got the curve roughly right. Then it should be quite straightforward. Grind back, make the bit in the middle, go in for tea and medals. Got the slightly irritating problem that the welder just won't reach, so I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing, reposition it, and then carry on. It's going to make welding the middle fun because I can't go through either of the tail lights. Wow, that's a good bit of welding to have done. I'm getting sick of this now. It's just, everything takes so long, doesn't it? Because it's a really nice repair, really good welding in there. It got a bit aero barry here, but it's all damn solid. And you can't bend any of that. I could probably bend that tail down if I really need to, but I'm really happy with the profile. That's going to look lovely as a nice arc. Now I just need to make the bit for the middle. Originally it would have been the skin comes down, comes out, then there's a little shelf there, and then it comes back and goes flat. The shelf is because it's sitting over the rear of that stiffener. It doesn't really need the shelf, doesn't add anything, so I'm not going to repeat or copy that. Where I've been doing the rest of the car, I've always tried to replicate exactly what was there at factory, just so it looks right. But up here, you're never going to see it, and I really don't care. So it's just going to be a dead simple piece of steel in there that's straight that way, has a curve that way, and then seam welded all the way around, and then I can grind the whole lot flat and then stick some red oxide on it. But first I think I'm going to have some lunch. I have been re-provisioned with barbecue leftovers, so I am going to make the bit in the middle. So I'm going to make rough measurements, and then I'll make the bit, and then I'll basically offer it up to the car, and hopefully I can just draw around it in the car, save me having to make a big cardboard template. So it's got to be about 72, 73. bit longer that end. Just looks pretty good. Yeah, so I'll cut it 75 plus 15, what's that, 90. And then, I don't know why I'm saying this all out loud, about 19 inches. Oh, wouldn't that be nice, ladies? Rough cut done. It's time to do some bendy foldy shiz. I love that thing. I will obviously need to bend that curve in it, but I want to do the trimming first, and then I can take it back out and beat it progressively. Annoyingly, I've dropped my marker pen down the back of the car and I can't find it. Oh no, there it is. Yippee! I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to take a detailed measurement of the arch that I need, or the curvature that I need. I think I'm just going to twat it with a hammer till it comes good. It might actually end up shorter, so I'm not going to trim that edge off until I've done the curving, because I could end up short of metal. Let's go do some bashing. Once again, employing James's patented metal bending technique. Da, 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 da. It's looking alright now. Curve looks good. I still won't 100% know until I get a tailgate on there. Gonna have to do some final sanding of that there crusty edge. Sand the ends of this off. Tack it, hit it, weld it, repeat. I am hotter and sweatier than a very hot and sweaty thing. It's too hot for doing this, really. God knows how people do it in other countries. It's probably only about 21, 22 degrees outside, maybe a bit more, but I am absolutely soaked to the bone in my own sweat. But that's really good. That literally just needs one little bit in there, so I'll probably cut that through there, fold that round, or, you know, just sort it one way or the other. Then I've got to do that bit down there, same on the other side, and then this whole tailgate aperture area is done. I'm really happy with how that's come out. I don't anticipate having any problems getting the tailgate to fit whatsoever. If there is any problem, it can be fixed in a number of ways. If that arch is too severe, then I'm sure it'll bend down. In fact, I can see it bends down. There's like a trim which sits on here, and if the worst came to it, I could just sand this down so the trim sat lower. Or if it needs even more catastrophic surgery, I could just cut a slot in here, push it down, weld it back up. So lots of solutions to problems which I really don't think I'm going to have. I'm going to climb out of here now. Oh my god. It's only about, I don't know, what is it? Maybe 2:30? 22 minutes past 2. So theoretically I should be doing loads more work because I'm up against it really, but I really can't be bothered because it's bank holiday Monday, and you know, this is meant to be fun at the end of the day. I need a break, so I'm going to turn everything off, cool down a bit, and then I might come back and I might, you know, tidy up the car really, or I might not bother. But right now I need fresh air. I don't usually bother making a point of showing my face, but man, it is hot.